Good Saturday evening, South Carolina weather watchers. Hopefully, everyone has had a fantastic Saturday. I am your meteorologist, Jess Peterson, and let's go on and talk about the weather for your Saturday evening going into your future. We have some stuff that we're going to talk about tonight, but first, before we even get into that, if you have not hit the like button or the subscribe button yet, make sure that you go on and do so. We are trying to get to 600 subscribers, and we are at 552. We are 48 subscribers away. 48 subscribers away from that main goal, and we are 23 away from that secondary goal of 575, the halfway point. So what exactly are we going to talk about for tonight? We're going to obviously talk about the cool temperatures as we move through this weekend all the way through Tuesday, and then how it's going to warm up a little bit, but obviously back into those high 80s, low 90s by the late week. We're also going to talk about the persistent shower activity pretty much throughout the active part of August, which is most of August. Heavy rainfall and the flood risk continues. And then we're also going to talk about the tropics as well. We're going to talk about the tropics just because we have some huge updates for when it comes to the tropics as well. So some stuff to talk about there. But first, what's going on currently? So we do have some rainfall right now that goes all the way from Edgefield over towards Williston and Bamberg. We also have some rainfall moving through the Somerville, Lincolnville, Latson area, going all the way close to downtown Charleston, but not quite making it there. Also along the coastal region from Folly Beach going over towards Kiowa Island, Seabrook Island, and Edisto Beach, rainfall is going on over there as a flood advisory is in effect for Beaufort, Seabrook, Ridgeland going into Dale, Seabrook Island, Kiowa Island, Ravenel. That is for the next hour. As minor flooding in low-lying areas and poor drainage areas, 1 to 4 inches of rain has already fallen, and an additional 1 to 2 inches of rainfall is expected. So that's what's going on over there. What's going on, though, throughout the entire U.S., I'm going to cut these off. We do have some rainfall, again, going on in Georgia, Alabama, North Carolina, Tennessee, flooding going on in Georgia and Florida as well. We also do have some rainfall going on in Louisiana, Mississippi, and Texas. Severe weather over here in Colorado and even Nebraska and Kansas. Also over here inside of New Mexico, in South Dakota as well. We also do have some storm activity going on in Montana, all the way up into Canada as well, and then rainfall in Oregon, Idaho, Nevada, California. 4-hour cloud cover. We do have some cloud cover going on, some low clouds going on up there in the upstate of South Carolina, and then even some cloud cover moving into that central and low country of South Carolina. Central, I mean Midlands. And then also, if you look over towards the PD and the Grand Strand, you can see that that cloud cover actually really does start to loosen up, and it's a lot clearer over there than it is than like the low country or the Midlands or the upstate. And like I said, there was going to be some clear spots, but for right now, it's looking like that over there they're having themselves a little bit of a clear period, but for the most part, at least from where I was, it was cloudy pretty much all day. Pretty much all day, it was cloudy out there, for at least for where I was. If you go on and continue this forward, you can see that patch over there, and actually the cloud cover seems to move its way west, and kind of seemed like it's leaving, but by the time you get back into that 7 to 8 a.m. morning hours, you can see that that cloud cover all just comes right back. And, I mean, yes, again, clear spots here and there, and maybe even a pretty big opening by the time we get around tomorrow evening. But for the most part, again, that cloud cover is going to stay relatively on the mostly cloudy side. Current temperature right now, 76 in Columbia as well as 76 in Orangeburg, 77 in Somerville as well as 77 in Georgetown, 78 in Murrells Inlet as well as 75 in Conway, 78 in Myrtle Beach and 77 in North Myrtle Beach, 78 in Charleston as well as 71 in Rock Hill, 71 in York as well as 70 in Gaffney, 71 in Spartanburg and Greenville as well as 72 in Clemson, 72 in Anderson as well as 75 over here near Aiken. For your low temperatures for tonight, 67 in Anderson as well as 66 in Greenville, 66 also inside of Spartanburg as well as 65 in Rock Hill, 65 in Winsboro as well as 68 in Columbia, 67 in Aiken and even 68 in Orangeburg, 68 in Moncks Corner and even 72 Charleston 73, Hilton Head Island at 67, and Georgetown. For your precipitation, for the most part, you can see up there for Rock Hill, Florence, Myrtle Beach, Dillon, it's actually going to be dry up there for the next 24 hours. But the more west you go, the more rainfall you're going to receive, especially the more south and west you go. 100th of an inch to a tenth of an inch, that spans all the way from Spartanburg to Winnsboro to Columbia to Orangeburg to Moncks Corner to Georgetown to Greenwood. And then maybe even a tenth of an inch to a quarter of an inch that goes from Anderson going into Greenville, going into Aiken and Barnwell. And then a quarter of an inch to a half an inch for Walterboro going into Charleston. And then an inch and a half to potentially 2 inches to Hilton Head Island as well. And somebody down there might even receive up to 3 inches of rainfall. Again, that's just an isolated amount, but 2 to 3 inches of rainfall is definitely possible down there. And I mean, there already is some flood advisories down there already. And if I go on and check and see real quick how much rainfall has fallen just in total as of 8:47 p.m., I mean, the radar right now is already depicting that already around 6 inches of rainfall has actually already fallen. Now, that might go a bit into earlier today as well, and so I'm not quite sure there, but for the most part, I think I can go to another model as well and just see, what it says. We go past, for the past 6 hours, around 4 inches of rainfall. So, I think that part of that may have been from earlier, but for now, it's showing that overall around a good 6 inches of rainfall has fallen all the way from pretty much for the most part of today in some places down there to where you can see the 1.5 to 2 inches or 2 to 3 inches as well. And that's why I always say you might have to add a little bit, because these storms, obviously, if the models say 1 inch of rainfall can occur with the storm, it obviously could be more with that. It just matters how slow the storm is moving, matters how intense the rainfall is, and obviously the model is not going to get that 100% correct. So that's why predicting the exact totals is going to be hard to do. And obviously, Hilton Head Island is probably going to receive more than potentially than 1.5 inches to 2 inches, or could receive less. We just don't know. This is the SPC outlook right here for tonight. We did have a marginal risk of severe weather that was in effect, but they have since gotten rid of it, because I guess the severe threat is now gone for tonight, and that's for the entire state. You see a thunderstorm risk goes all the way from like western Greenville over towards Walhalla and Pickens and Anderson, going all the way down through Aiken and the southern Midlands, and the entire low country still has a chance for a thunderstorm as we move through tonight. If we go into tomorrow, pretty much almost a carbon copy. Goes for, the entire low country, the southern Midlands up there near Walhalla over there towards Anderson as well. Just thunderstorms, nothing severe, but you never can rule out a pulse thunderstorm with some semi-gust or some brief wind gusts of up to 60 miles per hour for like couple of minutes. And then also for Monday, things start to get a lot more widespread. You can see that the thunderstorm risk now goes through again the entire state. Again, no threat for any sort of severe weather. Let's go on now and look at the excessive rainfall outlook. You can see as we start off tonight, we still have that marginal risk that goes all the way from the upstate all the way down through to that low country region, but there is a slight risk that occurs for Hampton, Walterboro, Key Island, Folly Beach, Beaufort, Hilton Head Island. All those places have the chance for scattered flash flooding as we move through tonight. Now, if we go into tomorrow, that scattered flash flood risk, or that slight risk, still remains. That's at least a 15% chance of receiving some flash flooding. That's for, again, Key Island, Beaufort, Ridgeland, Bluffton, Hilton Head Island. And then the marginal risk, or the isolated flash flood risk, is around it from downtown Charleston all the way over to Walterboro, all the way over to Hampton as well. If we continue on to day 3, does not end there. Marginal risk that goes all the way from over here, from the Francis Marion National Forest all the way over into the rest of the low country, over into Augusta, or near that Augusta line right there where South Carolina and Georgia meet. And then that expands all the way up into, again, that Clemson and Oconee County region. Day 4, we're still not done. For Tuesday, the entire upstate and the northern Midlands are included inside of a minor risk of flooding or isolated flash flooding that goes all the way down along that South Carolina-Georgia border, a bit more inland from that border as well, and also along those coast regions where Hilton Howland is. And then day 5, the entire state has a chance for some isolated flash flooding on Wednesday. So that's what we're looking for here. Again, isolated flash flooding or just flash flooding in general is going to be a concern as we move through the next 5 days. So you just have to be paying attention, watching for those roads, watching for those low-lying, poor drainage areas, because could potentially get flooded as we move through the next 5 days. Now for your models, we're going to look at the short term first. Here we have, it starts right here at 9 o'clock p.m. If you go on and push this forward, you can see all that rainfall going on. Even by 12 o'clock in the morning, you still have shower and potentially thunderstorm activity going on down there in that low country region. And that's why we have that risk, that scattered flash flood risk still in effect there. And that rainfall will just continue even as you get to around 5, 6, 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. I mean, look at all of that rainfall that's falling down here in the very southern low country. Now, if we go to total accumulated precipitation rates, I mean, that's, now again, one model run, but that right there, I believe that is around 8 to 10, maybe even more rainfall. Again, that just one model run. It's just one. So, we don't know exactly if that's going to be correct or not, but it just shows the potential right along that South Carolina-Georgia line there. But if we continue it even more, even past to around 11 a.m., you still have, some very light shower activity and even some rainfall starting to move into the upstate by the time you get to around noon and to 1 o'clock p.m. tomorrow as well. But except for just that little area right here, you're not really seeing too much of anything else. Maybe some light shower activity in the upstate, but it's very, very light. Continuing over into the further into the future, you can see that shower activity starts to span more into the Midlands, span more into the upstate, even once we get to around 5 to 6 p.m. Once you get to around 7 p.m., again, still just seeing shower activity. Nothing too bad here. You're seeing also that big plume of moisture moving from Georgia, and it starts to push into the low country. You can even see rainfall starting to move in from the Atlantic as well, moving into that Charleston County region again, like early morning, like 1, 2, 3 a.m. We'll talk more about that tomorrow night, if it is even still there. And then rainfall starts to move up into the upstate as well once you get to around 10, 11 p.m., going in even into like midnight, for example. And by 7 o'clock in the morning, still rainfall going on up there. By the time we get to that 7 o'clock, my morning video goes out on August the 4th for Monday. And just overall, I mean, just another big plume of moisture comes in. And so this will be a daily thing. Big plumes of moisture moving throughout the state. All at different time frame. I mean, it could be as early as 7 a.m. or it could be as late as 3 o'clock in the morning for when all of these big plumes of moisture could come through. So that's why I always say make sure that you have that umbrella handy with you. Because even though, like some regions, for example, like the PD, you didn't really see a lot going on over there. You saw that mainly happening in the low country and Midlands and the upstate. I would still carry it with you just in case, even if a little shower passes by. Now, as we move into the long-term future, this is the GFS for the next 300 to 400 hours. If you go on and push this forward, you can see this active activity as we continue more into August. And then you see a low pressure forming over here again. We're going to talk about this in a second, but obviously if you were there at the beginning, I was saying that the tropics were getting a lot more active as well, and that's one thing right there. Now, if this was to occur as modeled right here on August the 8th, that would definitely bring us some gusty winds, definitely bring us potentially some rip currents and some high surf as well. But for the most part, it most likely will also bring us maybe some isolated, scattered shower, thunderstorm activity. But, I mean, it would move its way out of there. Again, that's not really any threat to us. But, again, this is usually the happy hour for the GFS, meaning that it's when it shows the most dangerous scenarios. So, again, that might be gone by tomorrow. If we continue to push this forward, though, even more, once you get to around, like, the 300-hour mark, August the 15th, we really can't go any further than this in terms of, like, depth. But for everything else before it, I mean, it just shows, again, that active activity. But we can look at patterns though, and it pretty much just shows again active activity as we move even into August. That August like the 18th ish. So we're still looking active for August, and that's not going to change, most likely. Now we'll see what happens as we get into like the midpoint of August and we look at the rest of the month going into September. But for right now, it's looking like it's going to continue to be active. Now for the tropic, you can see we have a lot of stuff already. Just this morning, there was no threat for any sort of tropical activity, and we were good. Now we have two areas. Now again, we're going to talk about the one right next to us first. This one says a non-tropical area of low pressure has formed along a frontal boundary around 150 miles off the coast of North Carolina. This system could acquire some tropical or subtropical characteristics through Monday while it moves east-northeast at around 10 miles per hour away from the coast of North Carolina. Environmental conditions become less conducive for development after Monday. So, not a threat to us, this area right here. Not a threat to us for now. 48 for the next 48 hours, it does have a 30% chance of forming into a tropical depression, and also for the next 7 days, it has a 30% chance of turning into a tropical depression, mainly through Monday, because after Monday, there's not going to be any more of a chance for it to form by that time. But again, that's the one. If I can go in and get it right here, because Monday is the 4th. I think it's the one that's actually just leaving us. Yeah, here it is right here. This is the one right here that we're looking at. Low pressure right here. It's moving its way east, and I mean, it's not really doing much to us at all. So this one that we see right here, this is the one, I believe, which is the second one I believe we're going to talk about, which is the big one, all the way over here to the kind of like the center part of your screen. Disturbance 2 over here. A tropical wave is forecasted to move off the west coast of Africa in the next day or two. Environmental conditions could support some gradual development of the wave during the middle to latter portion of next week, while it moves generally west and northwestward across the central Atlantic. So yes, this is something that we're going to have to watch for sure. This one up here, that's right next to North Carolina, we're not really watching for that one too much, but we're watching this one, Disturbance 2, because even though that there's no chance for development over the next 48 hours, and there is a 20% chance of forming during the next 7 days. So models right now have it all over the place. Some have it going into the Gulf, some have it going towards Florida, some have it going towards the Carolinas, some have it going towards the Northeast, and some just have it going over and just out to sea for the most part. So we still don't know what's going to occur with that. And at this point, like I said, we're just going to have to wait and just see what happens. But that is it for the tropics update. What's going on for the crazy score? Crazy score, we are at a 51. We are inside the strong category. Obviously, flood advisory still out. That isolated flash flood risk, and also scattered flash flood risk is still there. Strong storms, heavy rainfall, wind, all of that can occur as we move through tonight. So that's why we're at 51. No, I'm not going live, but it is just something to pay attention for. So let's go on now and talk with the live audience. If you want to be a part of the audience, you can by joining us at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Let's see what the audience has to say for tonight. Starting off with Mr. Chris, who says, "Good Saturday evening, everyone from Monk's Corner. Hope you all had a great day. Also had a lot of thunder and very little rainfall. Hope you had a great day." I did. Thank you so much for asking. Hopefully you had a great day as well. And thanks for the weather report from Monk's Corner. Thad says, "Good evening. Just a very nice and breezy here right now. Hopefully my grass will be blessed with some rainfall." We'll talk about San Antonio. Even though I believe y'all are under a minor risk of some flash flooding tonight. Or today, just in general. So hopefully, if you have not gotten any rainfall yet, that you get some more tonight. Trail says, "Greetings, everyone. Greetings to you." And then it was also a lovely, lovely day here. That is fantastic to hear. My Aunt Shirley says, "Good evening and blessings to all." Good evening to you. Mr. Chris says, "Please remember to hit the like button and subscribe button. It'll help the channel out. And also share with all your friends and family." Make sure that if you have not hit the like button or the subscribe button yet, that you go in and do so. Because, so far, we've had 25 people tune in. And we only have 8 likes. I don't know what's going on there. But 25 people have tuned in, and only 8 people of those 25 have hit the like buttons. So 17 other people out there have not hit it at all. So if you're part of that group, make sure that you go on and hit the like button. And if good chance that some people may also not even have the subscribe button hit as well. My cousin Cheryl says, "Good evening, Weatherman. I hope you're enjoying your weekend. I hope all is well. Love you all. You know where I am at working. Keep up the good work. Love you, Cheryl. Thank you so much for that comment. Love you as well." Nina says, "Hey Jay, it finally rained in my front yard and again in the backyard. That is fantastic to hear that you're getting some rainfall." My Aunt Lula then says, "Good evening, nephew and everyone. How is the weather looking for us in Georgetown?" For right now, inside of Georgetown, let me see if I can move this over here. Over here inside of Georgetown, y'all are not receiving any rainfall right now. You guys are not receiving any rainfall right now inside of Georgetown at all, so you are good. And even, well, I'm not going to get, well, I might go back real quick and just look at the thing real quick. But, well, hold on, let me finish with the chat real quick, and then I'll get back to that, to Georgetown. But for right now, nothing's going on. And then, Deb Scott says, "Thank you for all you do from Kalamazoo, Michigan." Thank you so much for tuning in all the way up from Michigan. All the way up from Michigan. I do appreciate you being here. And hopefully I can see you again more in the chat. So that's all for the chat. If you want to be a part of the chat, you have to go on and hit the like button and hit the subscribe button as well. If you want to leave a comment and you want me to read it out, you have to be a subscriber of the channel, though. But going back, because we did get a request over here for Georgetown again, I just wanted to go over the model thing for tonight again real quick. But, I mean, just as you push through, you're not really seeing much for Georgetown at all, even as we go through, like, even into, like, tomorrow afternoon. And I believe, even if you go to the rainfall, even in the rainfall, I mean, you only have the chance for around 1/100 of an inch to 1/10 of an inch. So you're not going to receive as much, if any, rainfall at all as you move through, like, the next 18 hours or so. So that's your update over there for Georgetown. Let's go on and talk about the 4 locations that we talk about outside of South Carolina, that being San Antonio, Texas, Raleigh, North Carolina, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and then also Duncan, Oklahoma. Those are the 4 locations that we talk about because we have people from those locations that are tuning in nightly or close to nightly. Starting off with San Antonio first, with low temperatures tonight 77, and then high temperatures tomorrow at 101. Low temperatures tomorrow night at 79, and there is a slight chance of thunderstorms tonight. No precipitation expected at all for tomorrow. Now, for severe weather, you do not have any threat for any sort of severe weather as we move through the next 8 days for now. So again, that is no severe weather, even though you will have some to your in the panhandle of Texas, but I mean, it's not going to be down there to where you are. Now, for excessive rainfall, you do not, well, you do have some for tonight, but once you get past tonight, that's it for excessive rainfall. So some minor flooding still possible as you move through tonight, but after that, that's it. Raleigh being the second location with low temperatures tonight 63, high temperatures tomorrow at 83, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 63. No precipitation is expected tonight or tomorrow, and there is indeed a chance for some excessive rainfall. That is on Wednesday morning going into Thursday morning. Minor risk of flooding on Wednesday. Once you get into your severe weather, no severe weather is expected. Philadelphia being the next one, with low temperatures tonight at 63, and then high temperatures tomorrow at 85. Low temperatures tomorrow night at 64, as there is no severe weather that is expected at all. And then for excessive rainfall, there is no excessive rainfall that is expected either. And then the final location being Duncan, Oklahoma, with low temperatures tonight at 69, high temperatures tomorrow at 89, and low temperatures tomorrow night at 68. No precipitation tonight, chance of thunderstorms tomorrow, and showers are likely as you move into tomorrow night. Now, for excessive rainfall, minor risk of flooding as you go into tomorrow, or isolated flash flooding. And then that's it for excessive rainfall. For severe weather, there is, I believe, a chance for some severe weather. You do have a chance for some damaging winds, isolated damaging wind gusts of up to 60 miles per hour as you move into tomorrow. And then I believe that no, actually, no, you're not. I take that back. So no, just an isolated damaging wind threat. So, it's low, but it's there, and it's possible for tomorrow. So now that those 4 locations are done with, let's go on and see what's going on throughout the entire U.S. Weather news-wise. The frontal boundary extending from the western high plains into the southeast will focus additional shower and thunderstorm activity this weekend. Some of these storms may become severe alongside frequent lightning and isolated instances of flash flooding. Meanwhile, dry conditions will continue for the Great Basin, where fire weather concerns linger. For the mid-Atlantic and the Northeast, seasonable and just pretty much as regular weather continues. Also, air quality alerts are out for Canadian wildfires also inside of Minnesota, Iowa, in Wisconsin, Michigan, northern Indiana, as well as northern New York, Vermont, northern New Hampshire, and then also inside of Maine, or at least most of Maine. And then also, report also from Chicago that overall for the past 2 or 3 days, Chicago has had the worst air quality pretty much throughout the entire world. I believe so, was inside Chicago, where people were reporting they couldn't even see 2 blocks down the road. So very, very dangerous stuff up there, as you can't really breathe too much of that in. But other than that, I believe that is all for the weather news up there for the entire U.S. Let's go ahead and check out the chat one more time, which we do have another chat, who is from my Aunt Shirley, who says, how does the weather look for Myrtle Beach next week? For next week, let me go on over here real quick. We're going to start off on the 3rd. For Sunday, I mean, for the most part, just seems to have that active conditions as you just move throughout most of the week. So most likely we'll see some rainfall. Probably not every day. Like I said, the PD region of South Carolina will probably have, well, PD and Grand Strand will most likely have the least amount of rainfall from these flash flood instances and flash flood occurrences as we move through the week. But there is still that chance, so you do have to watch out for flash flooding. But for the most part, that's pretty much the only thing. I mean, temperatures will be going back up into the mid-high 80s, but not like too hot. Not too hot at all. If you want to know more information about that, though, I do talk about the entire state during the mornings, though. So if you want it, so whenever you do go there, if you tune into the morning forecast updates, they're still on the channel as well, but they just get released at 7 a.m. You can view it at any time. You can go on and check those out, because I'll probably talk about that more just for the morning time, though. And then I believe, let me check one more time. I don't see anything else here that's interesting. Actually, just nothing at all in general. So that's going to wrap this up. If you have not hit the like button or the subscribe button yet, make sure you go in and do so. And also make sure you go and hit the share button. Again, we have 32 people in here and we only have 9 likes. So please, if you have not hit the like button yet, make sure you go in and do so. And if you have not hit the subscribe button yet, make sure you go in and do so. We're at 552 subscribers trying to get to 600. Again, that is 48 subscribers away from 600, the main goal. Oh, top fans for the night, Mr. Chris was at number 1. My Aunt Shirley was at 2, and then Trey was at 3. Congratulations to the 3 of y'all for being there for the top fans for tonight. Mr. Chris said, please remember to stay hydrated and stay cool. And I believe that is all else that we have. So I will be back tomorrow morning with your Sunday morning forecast update. Everyone have a fantastic rest of your Saturday.